Okay, what's going on, everybody? Just want to get right into it. Basically, I recently did a chart reading for someone. I'm not going to mention who it was, but there was some miscommunication on as to what they wanted, what I thought they were saying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do their reading over, but I'm going to go in depth with it. I'm going to go planet by planet. I'm going to go chronologically through where the planet sits in the house system. So I'm not going to go like, okay, sun, moon, you know, how it is in the sky, like we know it, sun, Mercury, Venus. I'm going to do it how it is in the chart, starting with the ascendant, with the first house. Then I'll go to the, if any house, planets in the second house, then the third house, fourth house, fifth house. And wherever there's a planet, I'm going to do what you know, what the planet is, the sign it sits in, what the planet means for the person, house rulerships, what planets, what houses do, or house does a planet rule, and I'm going to do aspects, and that's what this person asked for. So that's how I'm going to do my readings. I'm going to do them based off my analysis, based off what you want, what makes sense to you, not what I think you should have. That doesn't make sense. So let's get right into it. Jupiter. This person has Jupiter in the first house in Virgo. Jupiter is the biggest thing, expanding your horizon. And a main way to do that is through knowledge, through wisdom, which comes from knowledge and experience. If you gain knowledge based off the experience, that becomes wisdom. Ignorance is experiencing something and not gaining any knowledge out of it, not knowing, ignore. So that's what Jupiter is, and that's another thing that Jupiter is: wisdom and higher wisdom, higher knowledge. You know, Mercury and Jupiter, they're two-headed, you know, two sides to the same coin. You know, one is better, or when I say higher, I don't mean like Jupiter is higher than Mercury or Mercury is lower than Jupiter. It's a philosophical understanding of what I'm saying. Jupiter in woman's chart is the husband. Jupiter is faith, wisdom. Some people say it's luck. I don't know. I guess when you have faith, you get lucky. When you apply your faith, you seem to get lucky. I guess what that means. So those are the main things with Jupiter. Jupiter is any like teachers you have. It's the teacher in us. Jupiter also wants to learn, but it's more so on the teaching side. Jupiter makes the laws. Saturn enforces them. Jupiter is philosophy. Jupiter is like, okay, I believe this, and this is what I'm sticking to. Some people's Jupiter could be in a place like Gemini, and they can believe all kind of different. They believe in diversity. They believe diverse things. But in this case, Jupiter is in Virgo. That means this person believes in practice makes perfect. And that's what Virgo is. They believe in practice. They believe in practical things. They don't want to go off on a whim or what they heard or some new trend. Like, they go off of practice. They go off of what works. That's what Virgo is. They go off of work. They believe in service to other people. They believe in perfection. And Jupiter sitting in the first house here, it really means someone who is they put their belief in practice makes perfect, man. working to get as perfect as possible. They put their faith in that. They put their faith in service. They know that, okay, they say I believe in I believe in service to other people. I believe it expands the world. And when these people give service to other people or provide service to other people, it makes these people faithful. Like, man, this something good's gonna happen out of this. I believe in this, and that's what they stick to. Jupiter in the first house is beautiful place, beautiful place for Jupiter. Everything I was saying about Jupiter comes out through this person's personality. So, it being in Virgo, it's like they identify with. That's like the first thing people notice about them, or they want to notice about them. It's like their whole viewpoint on life is the fact that they believe in service, and it comes out through their personality. This affects their viewpoint, how they perceive the rest of the world, how they want people to perceive them. It comes out in their temperament. These are really joyful people to be around, optimistic people to be around. They always want to look on the greener side. Always looking to go and adventure, expand their perception, expand their viewpoint, expand their personality. Like these people, like when they come into a room, you feel like Jupiter just came into the room like this big, huge, and it's their personality. It's just their personality, the presence they carry about them. It's not that they're trying to be this way, and sometimes it's not like all in your face, but still you get that presence about you. People like feel like, man, this is philosopher. This is one of those guys that belong in the library, or like sitting at the table with the guys with the heavy beards and the suits on, and they're discussing all kind of encyclopedia, almanac, all that kind of that's what this kind of person is. And Jupiter, to go even deeper into it, because this person might have identified what I just said. Some things, some they might not have identified with, but to get more into it, Jupiter rules the fourth house, and the seventh house. Those are activities Jupiter will be doing in the first house, because a planet takes with it the activities of the house it rules. So for this example, Jupiter rules the fourth house and the seventh house, because this person has a Virgo ascendant. So they have Sagittarius, which Jupiter rules, and the seventh house, Pisces, which Jupiter also rules. And that's going to tell you even more about what Jupiter's doing. So when Jupiter rules the fourth house and it sits in the first house, that means everything from the fourth house via Jupiter energy is being expressed through the first house. What is the fourth house? Fourth house is family, like your family that you have created, or people who you feel family around. It's home. It is your most inner self. It's the self that you're most comfortable with being. Right? See, that's the difference between the first and fourth house. The first house is who you want other people to see you as, or how other people see you. The fourth house is when there's nobody around, or you feel like at home. Wherever you feel like you're at home, and you're being your root self at your base. And that's also the fourth house, your roots, whether it be the roots of your like your culture, the roots of your heritage, your history, where you feel you are, your innermost self, the beginning of you, if you will, the bottom of you, the foundation. That's also the fourth house. The fourth house is your psychological foundation. It is emotional security. How stable do you feel emotionally? That's also the fourth house. Fourth house is our conveniences, things that make us feel more comfortable, like home. See, fourth house is that nature in us that is the child and the mother, the maternal side of us, the maternalness, the part of us that wants to take care of a family or take care of someone or something, and vice versa, where we feel like we need to be taken care of and comforted and secure and fed and things like that. So all of these things come into the first house. First house is where your personality, your temperament, your attitude more than anything else. It is self-awareness or lack of it. Self-consciousness. Okay, self-aware or self-conscious. Self-aware means like, it's like, okay, it's like me touching this broom and me being aware of, how it feels, the color of it, what the texture or something like that. Self-consciousness is me touching this broom and other people being in the room and me thinking, man, somebody probably thinking that I'm picking this broom up to sweep or to hit them with it or something. Like you perceiving you perceiving yourself through the eyes of somebody else. Self-awareness is you perceiving yourself through your own eyes. See, so that's the first house. And like I said, all the activities of the first house serve the agenda of the first house. It's from astrofix.com, and they are excellent. Check them out. So home comes to you. Home is expressed. You feel at home when you have a persona to present. You feel it. You feel comfortable. You feel nourished by your personality. Conveniences are self-awareness. Conveniences, things that conveniences are personality. Everything I said, personality, persona, attitude, self-awareness. You have these things. You feel secure. You feel like you have a foundation. You feel emotionally secure. And with this placement, I would say stick by what your attitude. Stick by self-awareness. And don't get too into trying to be a perfect person or in any light. Stick to progress, not perfection. And through those things, that'll build that base, that fourth house base, your roots. You feel like secure. You won't feel insecure. The more you are sure about that Virgo ascendant and not trying to impress anything or anybody else, or feel like you need to be like the Joneses, or you're just not good enough at something. You are. And the closer you get to this realization, the more secure you'll be. Um, One more thing about this placement is the fact that, remember I said the fourth house was the house of nourishing and getting nurtured? Well, that comes through you. It comes through your body. This person could use their body to serve other people and in turn get served, like a job. Perfect, beautiful example of someone who uses their knowledge, wisdom, experience, everything that Jupiter is, and express it through their personality to provide service for other people. That is where you feel nurtured. That is where you nurture. Now, Jupiter also rules the seventh house of relationships, one-to-one relationships, and one-to-many relationships, meaning your relationship between you and the other person, right? It's also the relationship to you and everybody else as one. Seventh house is just other. It's simply other people. It is where you do the courting, like marriage. It is not what happens in marriage. It is the courting, the bringing together of it, the bringing together. It's where you bring two different parties together to for I guess you could say a deal or a contract or agreement. That's why it's also business partnerships. You know, to bring it together. Okay, let's sign this contract. You'd agreed to do this. I agreed to do this. Everybody's happy. It's the marketplace. This is the house. This is a fame house because it represents everybody else. Everybody, billions of people. It's the marketplace because that's what you have to do. Like when you want to market something, you want to market it to other people. Okay, that's the seventh house. So Jupiter rules this house and comes into the first house. So all the courting, it comes through your personality. Based on how good of that Virgo ascendant you present to other people is going to determine if you make that deal, if you make that marriage balanced. You bring it into balance. You bring balance to marriage and partnerships through your personality. So this is a placement where, okay, man, things are not going right in my relationship. Things are not going right in this this business contract or this agreement that I'm trying to sign or just sign. I don't know the answers. Go to the first house. This is where you analyze yourself. What have I been doing? What can I get better at? What haven't I been doing? What am I aware? That's where the awareness comes through that I was talking about. And with Virgo there, that's especially they're analyzing their personality to make it more pure. So this is a placement where, man, like if you become aware, the more you analyze, you know, look, this is a place where if you want to know how you're doing, you look to your relationships, and they look back at you. Like if it's a sign of if your relationships or business partnerships are crumbling, it's something that you need to analyze and fix in your personality, in your attitude, and doing this brings the awareness right there, so you don't have to worry about that. So, or through your body, which is also the first house. And it goes with this placement. It goes to saying that, like, if a relationship is not for you, and you feel like you, like I said, it's this Virgo ascendant can be very a worry wart about themselves if they look perfect or something like that. And it comes down to, look, you have to believe that you are. That's why Jupiter's sitting there. Maybe that's the lesson of that is the lesson of Jupiter. If you feel like there are people or relationships, business partnerships, contracts, getting involved with other people, if you feel like that is doing more harm to your personality, to you, to your attitude, to your body than good, then it's not for you. You have to believe in it and believe in yourself. That's why Jupiter sits in the first house. Belief in the self. Through relationships, or the lack thereof, the belief in yourself grows. Or that's where it comes through, though. It comes through relationships. It comes through business contracts, agreements, signing agreements with other people where you actually assign them, or orally say, hey, I'm going to do this, you're going to do that. Okay, we made an agreement. But seventh house is more so about, like, both of the people are aware. Like, it's not just one person saying, man, if I don't know, if I take her out, she's going to be my girl, or something like that. No, but the seventh house is where both people say, okay, I need this, I want this, and the other person says, I need this, I want this, and they make an agreement to do those things for each other. Okay, so that's a little bit on Jupiter. The aspects it makes, it makes a trine to the sun. It trines Venus, and it trines the North Node. And okay, so when Jupiter and Sun are an easy aspect, that's what the trine is, the easiest aspect. Your personality and your belief system support each other. Like, for somebody else who might have a square, might be against each other. Like, who you want to be, who you express yourself to be, and what you believe do not go hand in hand. They go actually conflict. So those are people that you probably see, like, they'll say they believe in they'll believe in eating healthy or something like that, but you see them eating fast food because they don't believe that, they just express that. But for this person, it's like they stand by what they believe in. They express themselves, and through they express themselves and believe, like, how can I put it? How they express themselves and what they believe in do not conflict each other. They actually go with each other. They support each other. That's how can I put it? So that's what that is. The sun is, like I said, self-expression. It is the child in us. It's the king, the queen, that creative child that, like, when you put a canvas in front of them, they just go to work, and all of their divine intelligence, which I believe also is the sun. That's what the sun is. And so also with the sun and Jupiter, when they look at each other, like, when they express that, like, the power of Jupiter comes out through the sun, through the self-expression, through the king in us, through the person that says, this is who I am. That's what the sun is. This is who I am. This is who I'm sticking by, who I am, and that's it. The belief system supports that. Like, they express, when they're expressing themselves, they'll say stuff like, this is what I believe, this is what I stand by, this is what I'm sticking to. Oh, I don't believe in that, or I believe this, or they real self-opinionated people. Real self-opinionated. They say what they have to say. and they believe in what they're saying, what they're expressing. With ease. With ease. There's no effort with it. And this a trine is probably it's easy to pass it up if you have a trine, because you don't have to think about it. There's no effort in trying to merge these two energies. So maybe in letting this person knows that it'll bring awareness to them. And that is the biggest reason I do astrology, is to bring awareness. When you understand something, and understanding, when you are aware of something and you understand it, how could it bother you? How could it defeat you? It's like the analogy I always use. When you are aware of something, when you know something, you understand it, it's like knowing the other person's play. Like, in sports, and one team has a play, the other team has a play. When you understand the problem, it's like knowing what's coming. It's like knowing the play. It doesn't bother you. It can't bother you because you understand it. So, yeah, this is a really big personality, and people, when these people feel hopeful, they feel faith, they feel optimistic when they end their self-expression with no effort. So these people, like, with this trine, these people can conquer anything. They can do anything because they believe they can. They really believe they can. And the more they express themselves, the more dynamic they get, the more creative they are. Also, the sun, the more creative they are, creatively self-expressive they become, the more they believe in they can do something. Whatever that self-expression is, that creative self-expression is. It could be talking, it could be acting, it could be writing, it could be rapping, it could be providing service to other people. However these people express themselves, they expand. Their personality expands even more and becomes more dynamic and more creative. Like that there. They become even more optimistic. So with this, it's always bad side, even to good aspects. Don't get too overblown. Don't get too big headed. Don't be too body like. I can when you say I can do anything, go out and literally do anything, because your belief has just overblown your eyes like that. You still have to be practical, and that is why Jupiter sits in a practical place. It says, okay, yeah, you can do anything. So now what do we have to do that? And you remember, Jupiter's in Virgo. They like to take notes and do the most methodical, the most practical things, set by set, plank by plank, by the book. Then do those things, putting those things into practice. Jupiter sits in Virgo, the signs of practice. That's when the sun even becomes even more dynamic and more brighter and shinier. And Jupiter also aspects Venus. It's a trine, and this means it's easy to expand your love to other people. And watch that too. Be sensible about it. Be practical about it. I don't know if you've heard this, who's reading what I'm doing, but just be aware of the people that you extend your love to, because you can be overly generous, overly big-hearted, and people can take advantage of that. So be discriminate, be practical with this placement. This person has like creativity on I don't want to say steroids, but it's expanding creativity, because that's what Venus is. Venus is creativity. With Venus, you want to create something or someone. That's the energy of Venus. Venus is, we all know what Venus is. Love, beauty, relationships, marriage, a whole heap of things. And Jupiter expands all of those things. So your creativity expands as you, again, practice at your, this is this placement where when you practice on your creativity, your craft, it expands without even trying, because that's what the trine is. It's no effort between it. So tell you, this Jupiter is so important, man. So important. In that practice, believe in practice makes perfect. That's what Jupiter in Virgo is. Jupiter believes in practice makes perfect. Practice on relationships. Be methodical about it. Be practical about it. Like, if something is, this is for your placement though. It's not for everybody else. If you have this is what this is about. Look at things that have worked for people or for yourself. Do those things. Be common sense about it. That's what the earth signs. That's what I get from the earth signs. Common sense. What is working? What works in relationships in the past? What hasn't worked? And do those things. It's very basic and very simple. Jupiter has a trine with the North Node. Oh man, you lucky you. Oh ho ho ho. Because you believe in your spiritual mission. You believe in your spiritual lesson that you will come to realize it. That's what this trine means. Your belief system and your spiritual lesson mesh together. They not mesh together, that's conjunction, but they support each other. They're not in conflict with each other. So, in other words, it'll be via Jupiter energy. We're talking about Jupiter and North Node. When you apply belief, when you apply the Jupiter and Virgo things once again to the North Node. The North Node is, like I said, your spiritual lesson. What we're here to go towards, what we are at least familiar with, but at the same time we're obsessed with it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the North Node is. It's the things that, like, oh man, I really feel like in my heart that's something I need to go towards, or you just can't get enough of this thing, but you suck at it and you back away from it and go towards the South Node, which is another thing. But I'm just telling you what the North Node basically is. And when you put all of those Jupiter and Virgo things, or just Jupiter, and optimism, like believing that you can do this thing, believing that I was saying that in the North Node, we back away, we shy from it, we're obsessed with it, but we keep backing away from it, like we suck at it, and like it's just the most uncomfortable thing to us. At the same time, that's where our spiritual lesson lies. That's what we should keep going towards. That's the meaning, the lesson of the North Node. So when you apply optimism, it's not nearly as, that feeling of like, I don't know. I just don't know, man. I don't know about going to do that thing. It just don't feel right. But you obsess over it. But when you apply optimism and faith and your philosophy, your belief system, you apply that to what your North Node is, your spiritual lesson is. Jupiter is blessings. It will come and bless the North Node. Now, I'm not saying that it will actually come to pass I'm saying it'll be a lot easier to manifest it. And so that's I wanted to go deeper with Jupiter, with all of these planets, but got other things to do, be, think. So the next I'm going to do is Saturn, and for what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 planets for every video. So I'm going to do Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. I'm going to ask this person if they want me to do the nodes, but I'm just going to stick to the planets for now. This person has Saturn in Aquarius in the 6th house. Lucky you again. Saturn is discipline. Saturn says, remember I said Jupiter makes the rules. Saturn enforces them. Saturn is an enforcer. It is like the police, to protect and serve, and to, serve to you what should be done. Okay, no, that's against the law. So you got to pay for this. That's what Saturn is. Saturn is a karmic planet. Saturn is watching when nobody else is. Saturn is the energy that gives you a consequence on every single thing you do, think, say, be, all of that. Saturn is like my favorite planet. Saturn shows you reality, and Saturn is a malefic. It's a natural malefic because nobody wants to be in reality. Nobody wants to follow rules. Nobody wants to go by rules and regulations and policies and be in the house by this. That's the nature. I'm just saying. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just saying society as one. Like we're in a society where that's looked at as like, ugh, man, I gotta get up and go to work. And that's Saturn. So yeah, Saturn's the rules, regulations, the policies, the boundaries. That's why Saturn shows you reality. Okay, this is the reality you live in. I'm not saying you can't be outside of it. I'm saying this is where you are now. These are your boundaries. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. This is the time you can do it. You can't do it, blah, blah, blah. Saturn is organization, because with those rules and those, they have to set them up somewhere. Okay, this goes here. This goes here. There has to be some order. That's what Saturn says. That's what Saturn is, order. Saturn is a planet which it represents work. Now, I don't even use hard work anymore. Work is just work. It's just work. But yeah, Saturn is work. Saturn is a planet that says, okay, you're going to do this. You have to do this step. Then you have to take this step. Then number 4, you do this. Then number 5, you do this. And all of these are practical steps. They're sure-footed steps, because Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn, the sure-footed goat. They're not going to take a step unless they know they're going to land their foot there. Even on the steepest of the mountains. You ever seen